Well, hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to this week's Duchenne Method live stream where we're going to dive into some fun stuff. And I treat this as a sort of Q&A, so you get to interact with me. That's the whole point, to have interaction so that you might jump in, share in the comments, let me know how you're doing and if you have any insights on what I'm sharing, so that as I'm sharing information, we get to have excuse me, an exchange together. So, what is all this Duchenne method stuff about? Well, essentially, it's me who is working on demystifying the mind-body connection for you to attain optimal health, and so that you might use the tools that I'm sharing with you in your own life. And I invite you into this circle. I call this our sacred circle of creation, where we acknowledge, engage, and support one another. And to discuss some topics related to mind, body, alignment. And most importantly, so that we can practice the art of mindful communication together. When it comes to mind-body alignment, it's really a huge topic. I focus on it primarily from the perspective of your physiological health in relationship to how you show up in the world based on your belief system, on what filters you might look to in your life that might bring up either some discord, some judgment, and disagreements. And I want to be able to share here and create these types of circles so we might be able to express ourselves with what's hurting, what's not feeling well, and normalizing our emotions, normalizing what we are going through in life so that we don't feel alone. We don't feel like we have to deal with everything by ourselves. Because what I found through many years of practice as a mind body alignment expert, doing the structural integration to body work, manual osteopathy, and being coach for the past 30 years in different areas, is that people who are unhappy or depressed are oftentimes disconnected from life. They feel that they're alone, they're isolated. And my intention is to help all of us feel connected, to come a little bit closer together by creating these life streams, by creating environments where people can come together and feel acknowledged, engaged with, and supported. Hey, good morning. So as you start coming in, please do say good morning. I'm going to put my comments on. Who is here this morning? We have Christiane. Good morning, Christiane. My sister-in-law and brother, I believe, are here. Say hello in the comments if you're here. Let me know that you are here, so that I can say hello back, and that we can start right away with moving into today's topic and moving into exchanging different conversations together. So here we go. We are on our way. We're going to start in a few seconds, but first, here we start with a new fun short intro. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed my new little intro. Thank you to my amazing team for putting this together for me. All right, friends, this morning we are going to dive right into the topic of how to focus on yourself Am I happy? To check in with yourself and to really take a moment to ask yourself the question, am I happy? I'm not talking about a superficial, outwardly happy, although that's good too, but at the core of who you are. Do you feel happy in life? Would you say that you are someone who lives life through the lens of happiness? That overall you are someone who is happy, content with their life. And the second question is, how can I love myself? How can I love myself? These are two pretty big, bold questions. Thank you for the thumbs up. Good morning, Elise from New York City. In New York City, we have Lee's in Connection House. Oh, you can't hear me. Is that right? Are other people having a hard time hearing me? Yes, it sounds like people are having a hard time hearing me. How about this? Let me know if you can hear me now. I'm not sure what's going on with my audio. Let me know. Is this better? Can you hear me better? Oh, Elise is on YouTube. She says the sound is not good. What is going on? I'm going to mute. I'm going to unmute. Can you hear me better right now? I can't hear you much. Elise says she cannot hear me much. Oh, what's happening? Nelson, can you help me with this? What is happening with my sound? Let's just try to put my headphones on and see if that's better. Hold on a second. Let me put my headphones on. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. Thank you for your patience. Let me know if you can hear me better right now. I'm going to put my headphones on and see if... Hi, gorgeous. It sounds muffled. Huh. Still distorted. Okay. My team is on the case, trying to help me to fix the sound. I wonder if it's become I played my intro. Oh, it's better now. Better now. Yay. Okay, thank you. I just put my headphones on, so hopefully it'll be even better now. Thank you for letting me know. Hey, Nat. Good morning. Natalie, California is in the house. Perfect. Elise says she can help me. Sabi is here. Hello, hello. Much better. Awesome. Merci, Christiane. Thank you, Nelson, for being on the case. I don't think you need them. Okay, but can you hear me? I'm going to keep them on just in case. I don't think you need them. All right. Thank you. Nelson, thanks for helping, hon. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to dive into today's topic. We are going to, don't forget to say hi if you're here. Good morning, everyone. Once you join, write a comment, say, hey, good morning. If you did not join with live stream, I can't see your name. So make sure that you write your name as you join. And I'm checking on my phone to see if I might have missed anyone. Okay, so far so good. All right, my friends. So I want to have a little discussion with you this morning about those two super important questions that I think we might want to ask ourselves at different parts, perhaps, of our lives, but in particular, at different times throughout maybe this year. You might want to use these tools today to check in and really establish if you are feeling happy, if you are happy. And also the second question that I want to invite you into this morning is, how can I love myself? These are not small questions. And when I sent my newsletter last week, I kind of gave it a little bit of a curveball, because what I really want to talk about is how your happiness is linked to your physiology, how your happiness and your moods have everything to do
with your gut health, your tummy. What are you putting inside of your system on a daily basis that could assist you in gaining more energy, in tapping into the happiness quotient? And it has everything to do with your gut health. And today, instead of thinking about how to add to our regimen when asking the question, am I happy and how can I love myself? I want to suggest that we might subtract something. And what I think is a good idea to try is to subtract what we ingest in order to do a sort of a physical cleanse, but also a psychological and spiritual cleanse. So it's not by adding anything. In fact, I think it's by deleting things. And certainly that is the topic, that is the angle I am taking today, because I really want to talk about our gut health. And for me, excuse me, it has been an ongoing back and forth experiment with my gut health because I love food. I love to eat. I love to drink. And I know at this point in my life when I'm off kilter, when I'm out of alignment with my level of happiness or energetic level, I know that it has to do with what I'm eating, what I'm ingesting. So I want to explore that with you today. And please do not hesitate to write your impressions, your comments, as you hear me share, because this is something that we are all privy to. This is not special to any one person. We all have good moods, low moods. What I'd love to invite you into is to consider being on a higher level of mood, right? So that you feel better and better every day, especially as we get older. Good morning from Martinique. Julianne is in the house. Awesome, Julianne. Welcome. Wonderful to have you here. So we have Canada, Martinique, we have California, New York. We have Montreuil. Thank you for being here this morning. All right, with no further ado, my friends, I want to go into a little bit, I want to share a little bit of research that I did over the past few weeks in relationship to that. And here's the thing, 90% of serotonin, and serotonin in specific is the hormone that makes us feel happy. Well, that hormone, and Nat, you're going to know this, my friend Natalie Geld, who is on the call, who is a genius neuroscientist, will know this right away. So serotonin, the hormone that makes us happy, that makes us feel happy, is produced in the gut. Food cravings often originate from this connection. So psychological stress can negatively affect our gut health, causing what? The big I, inflammation and emotional eating. So whenever we reach out for something that is a comfort food or that we know will make us feel better, which in the long run, by the way, those types of foods never end up making us feel better. That is based on the food cravings that originate from the connection between serotonin that is produced in the gut. Food, of course, has a big effect on how we feel. However, science is now revealing the strong relationship between our diet, our immune system, gut microbes, and mental health, with studies examining how gut dysbiosis, which is another fancy word for inflammation, contributes to mental health conditions that include low moods, anxiety, and depression. So whenever a client comes into my office, the first thing that we talk about, or one of the first things, right? I do mind body alignment health. When people come to see me in my treatment room, I work on their bodies. I work through connective tissue. I align the body. I touch the bone, the muscle, and we move into a dialogue, a somatic dialogue around what they are feeling, sensing in their bodies. And 9.9 times out of 10, I'm going to give a 0.1 percentage there, a little bit of space. Although every time when someone feels out of alignment, it always comes around to their gut health, to their nutrition, to what they're putting in their bodies. Now, listen, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. You've heard all of this before. However, what I am finding in my clients and my practice over the past several years is that when we start to make small changes to how we relate to nutrition, to what we intake, it can have a dramatic effect on your mood, on your sense of happiness. So when you're asking the question, am I happy? And you'll say something like, yeah, I'm happy. I feel pretty happy. It's not exactly the way I'm asking the question. I want you to go a little bit deeper into yourself and to check in to what is your level of happiness, your quotient of happiness in your life overall. If you're someone who's judgy, or if you're someone who's holding on to resentment, if you're someone who tends to hold on to the past, is worried, if you tend to blame your past for your present condition, all of these affect how you will show up in life, obviously. And if you're feeling like that naturally and you contribute by eating foods, by intaking food and drink that is either too fatty or that is not supporting a high level of whole food nutrients, it's going to really affect how you live your life or how you feel on a daily basis in your life. So the whole story about I'm getting older, everything hurts. I'm not saying that we're not getting older. God knows I am. However, there's a possibility to age better, to have a longer and better older life cycle. And that needs to be addressed now. At whatever age you are, especially if you're younger, you really want to be able to connect to this information in terms of what might you do to assist you to move out of a regularity in feeling less than optimal in your mood. For example, if you're someone who tends to feel sad, or in the morning if you wake up and you have the blues, or if you don't feel like there's a purpose in your life, or if you find yourself constantly in a difficult interaction with a family member or with your children. So this is all in relationship, of course, to the art of mindful communication. Yes, it also has to do with our language, and it has mostly to do with how you feel at any given time. So the health of your gut, understanding the health of your gut is so important to assisting you in living a more fulfilled, happier, and honestly, healthier lifestyle. So to enjoy optimal health, wellness, and to feel happy, we need to eat to please the trillions of microbes that reside in our digestive tract. This is because what we eat can shape and transform the relationship we have with our gut microbes. Just like our human partners, when our many microbes are happy and we have a healthy gut, we feel happier too. Our gut is a big part of who we are and has a huge influence on how we feel. And here's why. Our gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters. Our gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters. Along with digesting the food we eat, absorbing nutrients, neutralizing pathogens, and manufacturing some vitamins, our gut microbes produce neurotransmitters, including serotonin and dopamine, the feel happy and the boosts of feel happy and excitement in our lives. 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut, as I said. Along with inducing happy feelings, serotonin plays a role in gut motility, sleep, bone, and cardiovascular health. So this is super important because what we know now is that studies suggest that consuming prebiotic and probiotic rich fermented foods, for example, sauerkraut, kimchi, and kefir can also help ease symptoms of anxiety. So, what you put in your body is directly correlated to how you are going to feel throughout your day. And most of us know this, yet so many of us have such a hard time following a very simple rule. The rules that we know that when we eat a certain food on a daily basis can really affect the quality of our mood, of our health. And that's why I keep inviting you to check back into your body, to check into your gut, so that you can take a healthy and real temperature of what's really going on in your body. So, let me talk a little bit about the unhappy digestive system and stress cycle. If you think of your gut microbiome as a garden, right, a beautiful garden, it plays home to a diverse range of thousands of species and strains of bacteria. When our inner garden is well balanced, so with a healthy ratio of good bacteria, we have a better chance of enjoying optimal health, happiness, and well being. Conversely, an imbalance, however, can lead to gut health issues such as leaky gut, which studies show contributes to imbalances in our mood. The gut brain connection illustrates how stress can cause an unhappy gut, but also how an unhappy gut can lead to stress. This is why learning to better manage stress through regular exercise and eating a nutrient dense whole foods diet can help to improve microbial diversity and subsequently boost our mood. Okay, I'm going to read a few comments here. Elise says, apropos this discussion, my GI doctor recently prescribed an SSRI to treat my GI issues because the gut has more serotonin receptors than anywhere else. Correct. What is SSRI, Elise? I'm not familiar with this. SSRI. Maybe Natalie knows too, because the gut has more serotonin receptors than anywhere else. 100%, right? That's what we know. So if you have a happy gut, and if you're eating, like I said, some of these fermented foods that help to sustain a happy microbiome, which is the environment inside of your gut, the tendency is that you will feel better overall in life. Now, who doesn't want to feel better in life? Who doesn't want to feel energized and activated and interested and interesting? We all want to feel better. If anybody says they don't want to feel better, I think it's because they might not know what it feels like to feel better. Because once you've tasted what it's like to feel good and to be energetic, you never go back. And so this is why we tend to be attracted to people who have energy, to people who are excited about life, and they're happy for no good reason at all, it seems, right? Just choosing to be happy. But that's, I find in some ways minimizing, because a lot of people don't feel happy. A lot of people don't know how to love themselves. They've never been taught to love themselves. So when I encounter this patient or client in my practice, we go straight to the conversation around what are you eating? What might you actually delete from your environment to help you build a better microbiome environment in your gut? And as soon as they do this, 100% of the time, it helps. I've experienced this, many, many times over the course of my career. Okay, so because the gut has more serotonin. So Elise says selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors to keep serotonin levels high. Awesome. And Elise, you just had a pretty severe, or I would say pretty severe gut surgery in relationship to this. So you're very well positioned to share this information. Thank you. Intake, so uptake, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors to keep serotonin levels higher. Yeah. So Elise, are you finding that through this protocol that you are feeling better? Majorly. Is that what you're saying? You're feeling majorly better. So we have someone on the call who is going through this, who has had a major gut surgery recently who is now increasing her uptake of serotonin inhibitors, and she is feeling much, much better. Thank you, Elise. So the proof is in the pudding. There's someone on the call right now with us who is sharing that she's feeling much, much better by tapping in to these uptake of serotonin inhibitors. Thank you, Elise. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Leanne asks, let's see, here's a question. Is there any resource to understand better or go deeper about improving our diet? Art of Alignment website, maybe? Great question, Leanne. Yes, there are many resources to assist. I don't have time to go into all of the resources today, but I will give you a few important questions to ask at the end of the talk so that you might explore that for yourself. So thank you for the question. It also encourages me to write about this more and to offer it in a blog or vlog format. Leanne asks again. No. Okay. Somebody says here, I don't know who you are, hon, because I cannot see your name. I'm sorry, but you are asking, as I'm listening to you, I'm eating an organic yogurt with ferments probiotics. It is good for my guts? Yes, it is. My pharmacist told me once that in the best, some yogurt was even sold in the pharmacy. Oh, this is Sabi. Some of the best yogurt was sold in pharmacies. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know what it's like in Montreuil, but I know for me, here in New York, I can go to a bodega pretty much and get some pretty decent yogurt. So yes, as you are eating your yogurt, you are increasing the happiness of your physiology, of your microbiome, of your gut, by eating fermented probiotics. Well done, Sabi. Thank you. Elise says it's been helping out a lot. Great. Thank you, Anne-Marie. You're welcome, Leanne. In the past, I meant not the best. Oh, I see. You were buying yogurt from a pharmacy that was not the best, is what I'm understanding. Okay, so overall, is this making sense? We want to tap into our guts. I want to invite you to tap into your gut and to see how, two things, right? Two questions. First of all, to ask yourself today during this time together, or maybe later, are you happy in your life? And how can you love yourself better? How can I love myself better? I can love myself better by taking better care of myself. Okay, today I am specifically talking about the relationship between our levels of happiness and our gut health, the microbiome, where serotonin, the happy hormone, is produced in the gut. And here's the curveball for all of us. Here's what I'm so excited about in the second half of our time together. I want to invite you to remove, to delete, to take out some of the food intakes. And Leanne, this is a good place to start. And I'm going to share information with you. You want to take this slowly. You want to explore this. And you've all heard about this. This is not new. However, I want to encourage you to explore the possibility of intermittent fasting. It's all over social media now, as if it was a new thing. Well, it's not a new thing. Intermittent fasting has been going on since the beginning of times. Our ancestors fasted intermittently. And one of the big advantages of fasting intermittently is that you're giving your system a chance to renew itself. So by starving your system, by not putting anything in your system for 12 to 24 hours, I'm going to suggest that per week. So for example, you go to sleep at 6 p.m. one night and you don't eat until the next morning, 6 a.m., right? That's not too hard to do. A little bit harder if you did 6 p.m., you stop eating, you go through your night, you sleep the whole morning until 12 noon the next day. That's a little bit longer. And what I would invite you to explore, and I will tell you why, Intermittent fasting or fasting is going to create a space in your body so that your body can reset, but also it gives it a chance to desire, get hungry again. You're giving your system a chance to take a rest, like all of your organs that function in relationship to one another, to digest your food on a daily basis, really appreciate having a break. So it's like, let's see, what's a good example of something that you use all the time? I'm going to just use computer right now because I'm working on a computer, right? If your computer is on all the time, it's going to start to heat up. And then you have to give it a break so that it calms down. You turn it off. Same thing with our phones, right? If our phones start to bug out, we turn them off, we give them a little breath, and then we turn them back on. And oh, just like magic, they work more effectively. Same thing with the body. So, all of you, Leanne in particular, start to explore where you might integrate a little bit of fasting, a little bit of intermittent fasting, and start slowly, right? So 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., excuse me, is usually a good time frame to start doing that. So at first, you start with a small intermittent fasting on a weekly basis, maybe 12 hours, maybe 18 hours. Start to play with this. What is going to start to happen? With a 12 to 18-hour fasting period, you don't usually have a lot of side effects. But I say this with caution because for some people, they do have big side effects, especially if you are someone who has gastrointestinal problems. Then it might not be the answer for you. So please do not hear me telling you that if you do this, you're going to be better 100%. For most people, it's going to help. But for people who have gastrointestinal issues, it might not be the best way to start. You might start with fewer hours of intermittent fasting. However, for those of us who can practice intermittent fasting in this way, what's going to start to happen is, first of all, you're going to be giving your system a break on a weekly basis because you're going to be integrating this method, this technique of not ingesting food after or between a certain amount of time. If you decide to do a longer cleanse, which means that you can continue to eat, it would be something like maybe broths, something much lighter, some cooked vegetables perhaps, and you slowly start to go into a longer cleanse, right? And I have a lot of information about cleanses that I can share with you. Usually what happens when you do a longer cleanse, let's say you wanted to do a 3-day cleanse or a 5-day cleanse, it doesn't mean that you stop eating. In fact, it's probably better if you don't stop eating completely. And there's a little bit of a preparation process, right? Before you fast for 3 to 5 days. So the first day, you might stop in taking coffee, for example. You don't have any dairy products. You don't eat any inflammatory foods such as tomatoes or peppers or eggplants. Those are foods that incite inflammation in the body, any type of nightshade. So you start slowly. You would start to reduce those foods. And instead, you drink some warm broth. You could also eat some vegetables of choice that are cooked. And you slowly start by integrating that into your fasting. What's going to happen in the first, second, and third days is that you might start to get headaches. You might feel fatigued. You might also feel dehydrated. So it's really important to hydrate, drink a lot of water and electrolytes when you're doing a cleanse, especially if it's the first time you do this. So the first few days, you get more irritable. You get moodier. You're unhappy. You're hungry. You don't like it. And then, if you decide to do 4, 5, 6, 7-day cleanse, for example, usually by the 4th or 5th day, the side effects start to attenuate, they lessen, and what starts to happen is you get more energized. You tend to sleep better. You wake up with more clarity. You feel more connected to your body and to yourself. You tend to stop having a lot of wandering thoughts. So the thinking process starts to slow down because the logic of it, so think about it, you're starving yourself on some level, aren't you? You're starving yourself, you're starving your system in a way, which gives space for a cleansing operation to occur within your body. And so, consequently, remember how we started this talk today is that your gut is intricately linked to your brain, right? First brain, we say the head, the central nervous system will be the first brain. The second brain is your guts. Well, if you're starving your gut by not putting in food, by doing a cleanse or intermittent fasting for up to a week, let's say, well, guess what? You start to clean out the attic. You start to clean out the central nervous system. So, what usually aggravates you, what usually gets on your nerves, what you tend to worry about, has a chance also to be cleaned out. They work symbiotically, they work together. Does this make sense? If this makes sense to you, give me a 1 in the comments so I know that I am speaking to you and that you are connecting to what I'm saying. And if it doesn't make sense, please say so as well. So I'm inviting you to consider this year, at some point this year. Thank you. Thank you. I want to invite you this year, probably in the first quarter, maybe in this quarter, January, February, March, try to start doing intermittent fasting, maybe 12 hours a week. Start to cleanse yourself. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you. Start to think about how you might integrate slowly. I suggest 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. to start, right? Just do that for a few weeks. And then give yourself a chance to do a 3-day cleanse. So it doesn't mean that you're not eating. It just means that you're going to detoxify your system by eliminating certain foods. This is really important to understand. You don't want to go from eating what you're eating today to not eating tomorrow. Please do not do that. I am not saying this. I am inviting you into considering how might you cleanse your noggin? How might you become lighter? How might you see the possibility of life, to have more energy, to be more excited about your life, no matter where you are in it, to worry less, to leave things that don't belong to you away. You don't have to be involved in every decision making issue in other people's lives. Do you see what I'm saying? We keep going back to the self, to the central alignment of oneself, because in so doing, if you do what you, and this is shared by every scientist on the planet, every spiritual teacher on the planet. This is nothing new. But now it's much more common because it's on social media everywhere. If you start by cleansing yourself, asking yourself the questions, am I happy? And how can I truly love myself better? The relationship with that and you ingesting things that are extra healthy and also deleting things that are not healthy for you. In this case, I'm suggesting intermittent fasting or cleansing will assist you in being more connected. You're going to be calmer. You will be in a state of more neutrality. Neutrality is a beautiful thing, to feel content with your life exactly as it is right now. To not keep searching to change things, to make things better, to twist and turn. And believe me, I'm with you on this journey because I'm someone who's constantly looking to improve the quality of my life. And I find that a lot of the time, if I can delete, if I can take away, if I can just leave things alone that don't belong to me, I have so much more space for my own creative endeavors. Okay, I have some feedback here. Let's see. Thank you. You're welcome in the past. Okay. Leanne, I'm going to share this with everyone so people can read. Leanne says, I had the chance to make two experiences. Write down your feelings at each step. Hunger. Start to recognize this feeling when it first came. Have a glass of water, then let it come back in your stomach. Drink another glass, just to recognize the signs of hunger. Because most of the time we tend to take the first for hunger. The second experience was to feel full. I guess you mean when you eat your meal. Put aside the dessert and see how you feel. Write it down. If you feel your hunger signs, you learned earlier, it's cut off here. So I'm sorry, I cannot see more. Let's see if I can. Does it show more here? No. So, Leanne, I think that what you're sharing is that you experimented. What I want to know is, was it helpful? Did it help you to get in connection with how your body was feeling? Because the other thing is, from what I'm reading here, when you do these step one, step two, and you have this experience, so the first was to feel full, you eat your meal, put aside the dessert and see how you feel, write it down. Yeah, so you see how your experiment actually is completely supporting what we're talking about today, because you are talking about your emotions, how you were feeling in relationship to what you were eating. Also, really important with what you're sharing, Leanne, merci de partager ton expérience. It's really great, because what we're also talking about is we are constantly encouraged to come back to feeling what we're feeling. Because if you can connect to what you're feeling at any given moment, there is a possibility within that moment to change your state if you're feeling depleted or unhappy or depressed or scared, or if you're holding on to stories from your past. Do you see how all of this is interlinked? It is interwoven. Mind, body, spirit, emotional alignment. We are complex beings. And in the work that we're doing together here, we are starting to dissect these pieces and to see what might we try, what might we integrate in our lives to create more freedom, more love, more happiness, more energy. I have clients who are a little bit older now, and they tell me all the time, Anne Marie, I want to be super healthy because I want to be there for my grandkids. So these are my clients who are, some of them in their 60s and their 70s, right? And they want to be healthy so that they can be there for their grandkids. So this is one way that you can start to connect to a deeper part of yourself by looking at what you can delete. What can you starve off, starve out of your life? In this case, I'm specifically talking about your gut and your microbiome environment to increase the happiness quotient in your life by cleansing, by removing things, by not continuously eating the same things on a daily basis just because it's an emotional trigger. And I love my food. I love my chips. I love, I love to eat. So it's a wonderful experience for me. And I also know that if I drink and eat too much, I have no more energy. I'm done. I literally fall over. Like I can't handle one more second because my body is so overtaxed by so much food or so much drinking that I can't manage. And of course, it takes me a few days to get better. And of course, this has gotten worse as I'm getting older. So, Leanne shares, very helpful to recognize how you feel, how your body reacts to food depending on your emotions. Yes. Thank you, Leanne. So, I hope this is helpful. I hope that I am inciting some sort of curiosity around intermittent fasting, around how you can create a healthier microbiome. And the piece that I wanted to leave you with today is so two things. I said to you last week to download the app How We Feel. It's an application. It's actually quite genius. I don't know if any of you have downloaded it. If you have, let me know. And let me know if you've been playing with it. So this is a check-in, an emotional check-in, so that you can tap into how you're feeling on a daily basis. And why is it helpful to tap into how we're feeling? Because if you are more connected to how you feel, you get to know yourself better, you get to see your cycles better, and you can then ask interesting, intelligent questions around, why do I feel so tired at the end of the day? Why do I feel so out of it when I wake up in the morning? Why do I have a crash at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? And when we ask these types of questions, we get some insight into how we live our lives. So if you're someone who has coffee in the morning, and it affects you in a state like you're working, and then usually by 2, 3, or 4 o'clock, you need another shot of coffee to give you some adrenaline for you to be more energized, then you can actually see that that system is probably not supporting your overall health. Because at 3 p.m., you should not be crashing per se. You might need a nap. So to take a 10 or 15-minute nap would be significantly more effective and healthier for you than to have another coffee, for example. So why it's important to tap into our feelings and emotions is because it gives us a blueprint of who we are and how we are living our lives. And once you know how you're living your life, when you have more connection to how you're living your life, you can start to make changes and tweaks so that you feel healthier, you feel happier, you have more energy, and you're more connected to who you are. And I truly believe that once we are connected to who we are and that we are doing the work or living the life that we are meant to live, that affects other energetic fields around us. So it's my way of fighting the war, so to speak. If we are all in alignment with what we're doing and that we love what we're doing and that there is a source of excitement and connection to our work and to our life, our friends, our family, we are doing the right thing. We are in our life. We are living our optimal best life. Leanne says, to learn to listen to our bodies and find what's behind this or that craving, not to avoid it, but to know. Yes, thank you, Leanne. Awesome. Elise writes, love it. Thank you, Elise. I appreciate that. Yes, Leanne, to listen to our bodies and find out what's behind this or that craving. Because usually, if you have food cravings, it's an emotional reaction. You're going to reach for food. I know I do. I reach for food that makes me feel comfortable as a reward because I need to be rewarded in that moment. So what I need to do is that, thank you, Sabi. Sabi says, thank you, Anne-Marie. It's super helpful. Awesome. Merci, Sabi. Wonderful to have you here as always. So if you can tweak and twist and turn a little bit and look and observe and start to do a little bit of intermittent fasting, really take a look today. For example, today, as you sit and you're going to eat something, take a moment, take a full glass of water before you eat something. And just ask your body, is this the type of food I need that is going to make me feel great? If you ask that question, your body's not going to lie. And you have to develop this sensitivity to listening to what your body is asking of you. And finally, of course, move. We must move our bodies. If we don't move our bodies, we're kind of stagnating what's inside our body. So it's kind of a little bit of a swamp. It's not a very nice example, but it's the truth. If you're not moving, you're not hydrating your tissue, you're not, exercising your muscles. And that could be a 30 or 45-minute walk. It doesn't have to be a crazy gym workout like I like to do. It could be something gentler. Move your body. Movement is detoxification. Deleting things from your diet is detoxification. So anytime that you have a headache or that you feel nauseous or there's something going on in your body, don't think of taking something to heal it. actually go and lie down. You have to starve yourself a little bit, because if you have a stomach ache or if you have a headache, what your body is telling you is that it needs to release toxins. So the more Advil you take, and I'm not saying you should never take Advil, but the more Advil you take, the more you're covering the symptom, and you're not really dealing with what your body is asking of you, which is either to rest or to delete any type of intake. Thank you. Thank you, Leanne. I appreciate you. Deep gratitude to you as well. Okay, I'm going to leave you with 3 things. Your gut requires 3 things, or at least 3 things. I'm going to leave you with this. A willingness to consider a different kind of intelligence. Your gut requires that you are in a different type of conversation with it, a different type of intelligence, not your thinking mind, but your sensing, your body felt sense, to be in touch with how you're feeling in your body. So that's what your gut requires of you, to develop a different level of intelligence, of sensation, of listening skills. Number 2, to slow down our thinking process so that we can hear from our gut. To slow down what you're thinking, to get rid of the thinking mind, to just listen to your gut, which means feeling, sensing. And finally, this is a good one. You ready? Trusting without second guessing its information. So to trust your gut. To trust your gut. That is also related to your intuition, right? To trust your gut. Trust yourself more and more and more in your life. Stop second guessing what your gut is telling you. If you feel something, there is something there. You know this because you've had this experience before. And for most of us, we've ignored it. I'm going to ask you to please do not ignore your gut any longer. All right, my friends. This is our session for today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. A few things. If you have friends, if you know people that might benefit from this information, please invite them to join us. Invite them to check out the Duchenne Method Facebook group page so that we can grow our community with other like-minded individuals. Also, we do our daily gratitude posting every single day on the Duchenne Method Facebook group page. Join us, because guess what? Gratitude is a function of health. So if you practice writing more and more of your gratitudes and appreciations in life, you start to focus on what you're grateful for, and you stop focusing on what you're not grateful for. Very simple. Okay, these are very simple tools that you can use every single day. And finally, you are going to be hearing more about me on social media. I'm posting pretty much everywhere. I'm really going for it this year, right? And so I'm doing a lot of fitness. I mean, I'm not teaching fitness, but I am in fitness. So I want to encourage you to move your body. And I am not fit right now. So I want you to know that I am being very vulnerable in posting these pictures of myself. And I don't care anymore. It's okay. I'm moving to have a very healthy year. And part of what's healthy for me is to share this information at large. So please, if you have any friends that you think might benefit from this, send them to my website, artofalignmentacademy.com. My coaching program that is starting in June is going to start to get promoted at the beginning of February. So look out for that. Of course, if you're on YouTube, and you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. If you like this episode, please like my episode, because it really helps me to get a broader, to reach a broader audience. Thank you. Thank you, Elise. Thank you. I've been aware of a happiness perspective since writing Gratitudes Daily. Awesome. Yes, me too. Energetically, it's off the hook. It's really working. Thanks, Elise. Thank you all. I love you. I look forward to seeing you next week. Ciao. Thanks for being with me.